Hello everybody, my name is Mrs. Helene. I am the third grade teacher at Providence Academy. I am very excited to be seeing you on August 31st when move-in starts at 5:30. A little bit about me. I've been teaching for 14 years. I am very passionate about teaching, but even more so I'm also passionate about my family, about seeing God work in our world and in the personal lives of others around us. And helping students learn is another thing that I really enjoy doing. Speaking of enjoyment, I enjoy reading, cooking, not baking so much, but cooking, learning new things, spending time with my family and friends, improving my organization at home and school, and listening to podcasts and audiobooks, especially while I'm going for walks. I've been married to Adam Helene for 13 years. We have 3 children, Ada and Jalen, who are in grade 7 at Providence, and then our youngest is Alex, who's starting kindergarten this year at Providence Academy as well. And yes, Ada and Jalen are identical twins. What to expect in 3rd grade? Mrs. Helene expects students to have a heart open to learning. I would like them to learn more what's best for them when it comes to learning in a personal fashion. I want them to learn more of how to study, how to become an organized student, how to work things out between people, how to set personal goals, how to use a planner, how to appreciate personal, God-designed differences in self and others, and hopefully get to the point where they're doing a little tiny bit less comparison between each other and a little bit more encouraging of those strengths that they see in one another. One concept that Mrs. Helene talks about a lot and focuses on a lot because I think it's very important is executive function. You can go to this link to find out more. It's a little video, and there might also be an article that I've attached in there. But executive function is basically some of the invisible netting or strings that kind of pull all of the things that we do in life together. So balancing our time management, being able to control our tongues when we want to say something to somebody else, being able to know where things are and keep things organized. Those are examples of executive function, and those are things that unless we teach and guide, they don't automatically develop. And so that's one thing that I want to develop in 3rd grade while working with you, the parents, and your student. I do have a executive function skills document. It's called a rating sheet that I use to keep track of the growth of students. And I usually ask parents to fill out the very first document during orientation night. So if you are able to click to view that document, that rating sheet, and print it out, I would really love it if you could fill it out with 0s, 1s, or 2s, or maybe your child is really good at something and they might get a 3. Either way, it would be great to have that rating from you, the parents, so that I can have some foundation to start from. It makes it a little bit more challenging when I have to wait until I've gotten to know them a little bit longer before I can actually rate them for the first time. Again, the goal of that sheet is growth, so that during parent conferences, we're going to look at the sheet that you wrote down about where you think your student is honestly with those skills, and then I will fill out another sheet right before our first parent conference, and we will compare, and hopefully we've seen growth, even if it's just a little bit, but we want to just see growth in that direction. And it is normal to see 0s, 1s, or 2s in the beginning of a year, so don't worry about that if you find yourself writing those down a lot. Moving on, academics in 3rd grade, we will be studying Bible, history, and literature. In Bible would be Judges through Kings of Israel. History, we do a lot of world government stuff, or world history actually. You can see here what it is. Literature, we have a list of books here. My main focus is helping kids go from doing just the phonetic reading to starting to learn how to deepen their comprehension, and therefore being able to manage reading more chapter books and such with more characters and more complexity. So academics continued. Grammar, a lot of jingles, solid sentences is what we want to have focused on, and we're going to do some classifying of sentences. Yes, there's going to be a lot more in there, but that's just the main things that are going to be a very strong focus. Writing will be interwoven between history and reading and science, and we'll be looking for sentences. We'll be diving into doing some paragraphs, narratives, myths, journals, and practicing our cursive. In spelling, we will be practicing words with the goal of having them become automatically correct in their first draft writing so that they don't have to go back and fix their mistakes. The words that we have in our curriculum this year are known to be the 1,000 most used in school up through, I don't know if it's 6th or 7th grade, I can't quite remember, but they should all be really well known for their foundation of writing and spelling. Included in that would be some lists of homophones that we will go over, and then we'll do this thing called dictation, which would be simple sentences that helps the students to really think about, in isolation and with that sentence, practicing capital letters, what kind of punctuation, like commas or end marks, exclamation point, period. It also makes them really think about the spelling of each of the words, especially when there's some homophones that pop up in there, and what is the correct one based on the context of the sentence. Some more academics. We, in science, are studying flying creatures and swimming creatures. One note, parents, is that the students really would benefit from having a Birds of Wisconsin field guide, which I'm sorry I didn't put on the list. You can see here there's some links that you could check out, some books at these links to buy for your child. And if you ever get to the point where you think you'd want to donate it to our classroom for the end of the year, I'd really love to start building a collection so I don't have to ask parents to keep buying them. Or if you know anybody who's going to just give them away or get rid of them, think of us, think of our 3rd grade classroom, and we'd love to have those to add to our curriculum. In geography, we do a lot of world map work in our history class. We are also going to try to learn a little bit about Wisconsin, and then we're going to be singing some songs to learn the names of the continents and the oceans. In math, I am going to be the math 4th grade teacher, but yet the things that I have to say will apply to math 3, and that is keep practicing your facts with the students, or having your students practice facts all year long. Addition, subtraction, and once they start getting multiplication, start doing that. I also would recommend that math vocabulary be something that you work on, so that if you're working on homework with a student, don't accept them just saying, well, I know that I have to do this over here and I have to put it up here, but I don't know what to do right here. Try to get them to say the math vocabulary, such as, well, what happens when I am having to regroup from the ones place to the tens place, or the tens place to the hundreds place, or I have to go backwards when I subtract? What's happening there? Have them use the actual math vocabulary, because that will help them throughout all other years in their math. And you'll see in the resource folder that I mentioned later in this slideshow that you will have the math vocabulary that I'm talking about, but you could also ask for an electronic version, which you could print off by just emailing me. Let me know and I can send that to you. Building number sense is something that has to happen by just simply exposure, playing games with dice, and playing games with cards, or talking about how to do a problem, like thinking about, hey, let's think about how to get it to the next friendly number, is what we could kind of think about it as, like to the nearest 5, like how many more to 5, how many more to 10, think of groups of 10, the groups of 5, groups of 20, something like that to make it easier, help them see it that way. Moving on from here, birthday treats. Only individually wrapped treats, please. Even if you make homemade treats, wrap them in saran wrap or in a baggie. No pans being brought in where kids don't have individually wrapped things to select from, please. Class wish list. If you would like to bless the grade 3 classroom so we could build our curriculum with some books and other ideas that I have on this Amazon wish list, please go ahead to the link and click on that, filter it out to the priority of being what the priority is of high to low, and then you'll get a good idea of some of the things that would bless our classroom and build our curriculum. Class communication, I do find it easiest if I can text a parent, especially in the middle of an accident on a playground, or if a student feels ill, or there's other situations that require a little bit more speed in communication. My phone number is right here for my cell phone. Please text me with your name and the name of your student so that I know who is texting me and who you are belonging to as a parent for which student, and that way we can get that communication set up. Also note that I will do my best to respond to text or email in a very timely fashion, but that doesn't always mean immediately. I will usually try to respond within a 48-hour time frame. If you don't hear from me, please assume that something may have happened to prevent me from getting your message, and kindly resend your information to me or your question to me, and I'll make sure that I get it. One final note on class communication. After about 4:30, I plan on trying to transition from teacher into mother or wife, and so I may not put as much priority on checking my email or responding to it. If there is something of immediate need and importance, you can text me, but keep that limited in my personal off hours. Otherwise, all other communication can be emailed to me. If you have any concerns or questions, please, I want to emphasize, contact me. Email me so we can set up a time to discuss in person any concerns you have. The thing that happens more often than I'd like to say is there could often be misunderstanding either from a student or from parents, and I would much rather work through that communication one-on-one in the manner that is laid out in Matthew, in Scripture, so that we can go to each other personally first before we start going and getting witnesses and going up the chain of command. I welcome it. I think it's a good gift for us when we learn how to communicate, we learn how to deal with conflict, and I think it really helps build relationship a lot deeper. So bring me your questions and concerns. Feel free to come in and discuss things with me. Our Christmas party I'm just telling you this because of the gift idea, so that you can have time to save or plan on what you're going to get. If you have a boy, plan on getting a gift for a boy and label it thus. If you have a girl, get a gift for a girl and label it for a girl. Only spend between $5 and $8, no more than that, please. Your parent resource folder, I will have to get to you on move-in night. This will contain items that are kind of a reserve for you to know what are things that we use on a regular basis. Bible timeline sheets, spelling lists, the math vocabulary is in there. There's some other items like the story map for literature and general academic vocabulary that I have put in there. A variety of resources. That is for you, the parent. Keep it in your vehicle or keep it somewhere safe at home so you can pull it out in the event that your student has forgotten something, or that you just need a reference to kind of gauge what is being learned and what we're kind of doing on a regular basis in class. Finally, as I end this slideshow, I thank you so much that you are going to be a part of my world in my classroom here this year. The third grade classroom will make it ours. I'm so excited to see you all in person on September 2nd for our first day of school. And I hope you are as excited as I am. God bless you all. Have a great evening.